Trump's latest threats are seen as a response to China's sweeping rare earth controls that were announced last week. And Trump earlier described them as a rather sinister and hostile move, but it now says it will all be fine. And he said on Truth Social that, quote, the highly respected President Xi just had a bad moment. But in any case, Beijing has signaled that it won't back down, it won't yield after Trump's threats, with the Ministry of Commerce saying in a statement yesterday that easily threatening high tariffs is not the right way to engage with China. And it also urged the U.S. to preserve the hard-won progress of negotiations. Now, the ministry also defended the rare earth export controls that Beijing tightened, and they say they don't amount to a full export ban, and said it's aimed at safeguarding peace and stability given the frequent military conflicts around the world, and also the fact that rare earth materials are used in the military fields. But the ministry also slammed the U.S. for its series of new measures in, quote, just 20 days since the Madrid trade talks last month. It listed more Chinese companies being added to the entity list, and also this 50% rule where any entity that's at least 50% owned by a company that's on the entity list to be subject automatically to the same sanctions. And Beijing has highlighted that as a sore point and said that it affects thousands of Chinese companies, Marty.
Yeah, the China reaction, Elaine, and the MOFCOM statement, why are they framing their own latest moves to tighten export controls on rare earths as retaliation as opposed to escalation? And this thing's been going on for so many rounds that it's kind of hard to lose track on who started it first, right?
Right. There are so many rounds of tit-for-tat tariffs and restrictions. And the way an influential and well-connected Chinese commentator by the name of Chairman Rabbit views it is that he said Beijing sees the Madrid talks last month as very constructive. And now Beijing sees the new U.S. measures against China and Chinese entities as a moral insult or a betrayal of that negotiation spirit that they had with these multiple rounds of trade talks, and also disrespect as well, the commentator said, where Xi specifically had urged Trump to avoid unilateral moves so as not to derail these multiple rounds of trade talks. And so he sees now China is counterattacking, and also the Chinese think tank CF40 said that the export controls on rare earths that's been tightened and expanded is a direct response to the U.S.'s expanding the scope of its tech sanctions, specifically through the 50% rule, where now subsidiaries of sanctioned firms are also subject to the same restrictions. But think tank is also arguing that the U.S. is less able to withstand the shock of a full-blown trade war with inflation and product shortage, and that they do expect the U.S. to return to the negotiation table.